my name is Holly Johnson, and I will be administering an Astrand cycle Submax test to calculate VO2 max for Gwen here. And she's been warming up for about 3 minutes now at 25 watts because that's the lowest the bike will go. And she has pretty high levels of physical activity, so we're going to go ahead and bump her up to 100 watts. Alright, and she's going to stay here for about 2 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and take her heart rate and blood pressure and RPE at that time. And RPE is rate of perceived exertion. And she was cleared for this test because she has normal resting vitals. Her heart rate was at resting 67 beats per minute, and her blood pressure was 81/59, which is pretty low, but that's normal for Gwen, and so it's going to be okay for us to continue with this test. And we also did the setup of everything, so her cardiovascular risk stratification was low. She doesn't have any risk factors. And to set up the bike correctly, we put it at the height of her greater trochanter. And it's almost time to take the next measurements. We're going to start with heart rate, then we'll go to blood pressure. So we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and record that. Alright, and we'll go ahead and do blood pressure. And we'll just go ahead and rest your arm up on my shoulder. Go ahead and record that one, and that was about 102/60, which is a normal response. And what would you say your rate of perceived exertion is? Light,
Somewhat hard.
Somewhat hard. Alright, so that's about a 13 or a 14, so somewhat hard. We'll go with a 13. And we'll go ahead and take your heart rate in. That was about 120, and so her first heart rate that I took was 119, and this was 120, so that puts you in a steady state level. And so since she is in her submax range, which is 115 to 163 beats per minute, we are good to go there. And so we'll just continue the test for another couple of minutes, and then I'll take her heart rate and blood pressure and RP again to make sure she's still in that steady state exercise. And I'm taking the heart rate at 30 seconds. 60 seconds is the gold standard, but since I am the only one administering this test today, I don't want it to take too long and stress her body too much. So I'm going to stick with 30 seconds. How are you doing, Gwen?
Good.
Good. Have any plans this weekend?
Oh, I'd like to go for a little hike or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. So we have about another minute before we go ahead and take the last measurements. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take your heart rate again. Alright. You're doing great, Gwen. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Alright, I'm going to take your blood pressure one last time. Go ahead and put your arm up on my shoulder. Alrighty, so that was about 110/60. So I'll just record that really quick. And what would you say your rate of perceived exertion is right now?
Still somewhat hard.
Okay, cool. And let me take one last blood pressure, or heart rate. Okay. So she is within that steady state, so she's still around 120, 121, so that is still within her steady state, within her submax range. And since she's been up there for a little bit, we can go ahead and have her cool down back at where she started at that 25 watts. And throughout the whole test, we did keep her at trying to get 50 RPMs throughout the whole test, and she did really good at that. She did great. Gwen did great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so she'll go ahead and cool down for 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll monitor her vitals to make sure they are at the appropriate response.